Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. You are here with Austin from Ohio, and today is Saturday, October 9th, 2021. I want to thank everybody for tuning into the live stream yesterday. I thought it went well. I always enjoy getting on there and talking to everybody and, just speaking my mind and having a laid-back little chat about the state of affairs in our world and this new world order that we find ourselves in. And it's just one of those things that I like to do, which is why I was happy when I was finally able to do it. I think it's crazy that you have to have 1,000 subscribers to be able to live stream. That's literally insane. Like, anybody should be able to just pick up their phone or computer or whatever and start live streaming, because what is going on? Why so many ads? Stop. Every website you go to nowadays does that, but that's beside the point. Hope everybody's doing well today, and I have a couple things to share with you guys. I know I was going to say I'm going to do a video tomorrow, Sunday, but I decided just to do it today because there's really no room for rest, in my honest opinion. So let me just jump right into it. This reminds me of the year 2016, because here we are again out in California. PG&E warns of possible power shutoffs for 44,000 customers Monday. So for those of you in California, if you don't know about this, now you do. Unity Pacific Gas and Electric Company warned that it may shut off power for some 44,000 California customers Monday in response to a gusty wind system expected to bring increased fire danger to the state. It's what they always say. Oh, it's because of the fires. Oh, it's because of this, because of that. No, this is because of the coordination, and this is because of the, potential for power outages very soon. Very soon. We know what they want to do. And as I've said before, and as many other people said before, this is just so in your face. You can literally see the agenda playing out in your everyday news if you are privy to the knowledge of what these people are doing. So many things are happening right now. It should be no surprise to us, but people should be asking questions. Why is this so bad? Why are these things happening at this point in time? Portions of 32 counties, including the Bay Area's Alameda, Contra Costa, Napa, Solano, and Sonoma counties. Come on. What is up with this? Sorry about that, but we'll continue. Could lose power starting at 1 a.m. Monday. The utility said in a news release, the customers can check on the status of their address with this map. The utility is monitoring offshore winds that the National Weather Service predicted could reach around 30 to 40 miles per hour Monday, including in the East Bay Hills and North Bay Mountains, and which could help to quickly spread wildfires sparked by power lines or directed energy weapons, but, that's a conspiracy theory, even though it's on video, and even though it skips over all the trees and just destroys people's houses. Yeah, and burns trees from the inside out. Yeah, wildfires, right? Real wildfires are unpredictable. They will literally go anywhere and everywhere. They don't skip up and down streets just destroying houses but leaving trees and other things intact. So there's that. Fresno County could see the most people lose power Monday, with more than 5,000 customers in unincorporated areas, including 436 medical baseline customers potentially experiencing shutoffs between 9 a.m. and 7 p.m. Another 4,559 customers in Solano County, 2,207 in Napa County, and 87 in Sonoma County may lose power starting around 6 a.m., the utility said. Shutoffs for another 132 customers in Alameda and 601 in Contra Costa could kick off 2 hours later at 8 a.m. A fire weather watch has been issued from north of Santa Rosa down to the Gilroy area from Sunday through Tuesday evening. The strongest winds are predicted Monday with a possible second peak early Tuesday, according to National Weather Service. Every time things like this happen, I always have to wonder something. They're pretty open about the ability to create rainfall. They're very open about it. They used it in Vietnam in order to, snuff out the Vietnamese army and people of that nature in Viet Cong. And they told us about it, and they said, oh, this is a good thing because then we can, put water on the ground for crops to grow. And we know that they can do this. We know that they can make it rain like crazy. So why not just make it rain over all of these fires? Oh, almost as if, they don't want to do that because it's against their best interests. PG&E's equipment has already been linked to wildfires several times so far this fire season. On July 13th, the utility said, blown fuses may have sparked the Dixie Fire north of Paradise. A few weeks later, in early August, another malfunction was reported near the start of the Fly Fire in Plumas County. Previously, its power lines have been connected to fatal blazes in Amador County and Calaveras County in 2015, the North Bay in 2017, and 2018 Camp Fire. So, I'm sure that PG&E is not the only utility company that's going to be cutting off power, and they're getting ready. They're getting people used to this. They're getting people used to the idea that the utility company can just shut you off whenever. Whenever they feel like doing it, they can just shut you off. And right now it's because of potential wildfires. But, part of Agenda 2030 is to, save the planet, right? According to them. And the smart meters in your home, because they're going to need to make sure that you're conserving. So that you're not being selfish and using too much electricity and other resources. So we're going to have to shut the power off for... Look what they did in Texas last year during the winter storms. Martinez Country Home reported on that. He lives down there. They were giving people certain hours of the day to use electricity and others different hours of the day to use electricity. Some people were left in the cold, and they even reported in the local news. But, no longer is it you can use as much as you want as long as you pay for it, which in America, that's what, we're supposed to have. We're supposed to, optimize for individual rights, and if you want to use as much or as little as you want, as long as you pay for it, no harm, no foul. No longer is that the case. Moving on. All right, here we are over at Yahoo News. And what kind of week would it be, or month or day would it be, if we didn't hear about this? Back to school gun violence was highest on record. Active shooter drills may not be the answer. Oh, what's the answer then? Oh, we're going to have to confiscate everybody's firearms. That's right, because then all the killing will stop. And people will buy it and are buying it hook, line, and sinker because, well, just like all throughout history, these people promise that they can keep you safe. You give up your ability to defend yourself and your community, and then you're led to the slaughter by totalitarians. But, we're not going to be part of that because we're America, and nothing like that could ever happen here. Those who don't learn from history are doomed to repeat it. Okay, families depart Performing Arts Center Wednesday in Mansfield, Texas, after being united with students from Timberview High School. Police in Texas arrested a student suspected of opening fire during a fight at the Arlington area high school, leaving 4 people injured. Students adjusting to another school year disrupted by C-19 also face a different kind of public health threat. Record gun violence, and there's that label again. Public health threat. We know the CDC is trying to get gun violence to be labeled as a public health threat, because as we've seen with just everything that's gone on in the last 20 months, if you label something as a public health threat, you can skirt traditional law and you can go based on executive fiat. And you can just write up executive orders at any given time and pretty much do whatever you want. Between August 1st and September 15th, at least 30 instances of gunfire occurred on U.S. school grounds, according to data from the nonprofit Everytown for Gun Safety. The shootings killed 5 people and wounded another 23. That marks the highest number of campus shootings in a back-to-school season since Everytown began tracking data in 2013. All in all, there have been nearly twice as many shootings in schools so far this fall compared to pre-pandemic levels. I would like to actually see the real statistics and not know Everytown for Gun Safety, Michael Bloomberg-owned garbage with an agenda. No, I want to see a non-biased third party record the data, and I guarantee you it's a lot different from what we're seeing here. That marks the highest number of campus shootings in a back-to-school season since Everytown began tracking data in 2013. All in all, there have been twice as many shootings. I already read that. From the beginning of August through the first week of October, at least 36 shootings wreaked havoc in schools in 21 states. According to Gun Violence Archive data, over the same time period from 2016 to 2019, the country averaged 17 shootings in schools. Wow. How many sixes can you get from this? 7 minus 1, 6. 2016. Let's see, 36. 2013, 3, 4, 5, 6. Man, so we already got 3 so far. I mean, I'm sure other people can come in here and find more that are better at gematria than me. But yeah, they're not going to stop until they have every single firearm, because what do you think they mean when they say protect people? When they talk about at the United Nations, the thing that I read the other day on the reinvigorating multilateralism. What do you think they mean when they say promote peace between peoples and among nations? Karl Marx said, it was Frederick Engels, I'm sorry. Frederick Engels said the definition of peace is the absence of all opposition to socialism. Makes sense. Such violence has left countless other witnesses and community members traumatized, all at a time when students and educators are already struggling emotionally. In some cases, schools' responses may unintentionally make the trauma worse. Yeah, unintentionally. Yeah, we'll go with that. We'll go with that. And they go on about just this week, 4 people were injured in a shooting at a school in Arlington, Texas. The accused perpetrator, charged with opening fire during a fight at the high school, was a fellow student who'd reportedly been bullied. The situation has fueled a mental health crisis across the country, as planned. Schools are grappling with heightened levels of depression and anxiety among both students and staff. And they knew this. They knew that they were going to get people all, depressed and anxious and stressed out. That was the point of all this. They needed to make us crazy. They needed to make us, stir and sit in the house and freak out, especially the people that don't know what's going on. Because all of it is at a subconscious level for them. And they may not even know that anything's different, but their subconscious mind does. And if you know anything about psychology and the subconscious mind, it can make you do some pretty interesting things. Everything is intentional, by the way. I don't know if anybody has caught on yet. People that were kind of suspicious of things to begin with. I know all of you guys do. All of you guys understand that everything's intentional. Nothing makes it on the news unless it's, part of an agenda, propaganda and all that. But a lot of people need to They need to understand where we are right now. They really desperately need to take guns away from American people. I mean, granted, they just might call our bluff one day and say we aren't going to do anything and just do what they're going to do anyway, but they would rather go this route. Because at least then you would not be able to defend yourself. Active shooter drills could make trauma worse. And they go on about that, but I want to look at the part where they're saying that it may not be the answer, because I guarantee they're gonna... Wait, that's it? Oh, here we go. I'm just gonna read this part right here, and then we'll go on. For Justin Funes, a University of Chicago student and volunteer with Students Demand Action, an organization that works to end gun violence. Reform should also extend beyond school grounds. Most of the gun violence that children experience occurs off campus. And that's particularly true in low-income communities, where students often learn in classrooms with the sounds of sirens in the background. How can you do your homework if you're worried about that? Funes posed. How many clubs can you actually participate in if you know you have to be home before the gunfire erupts? They're acting like if you don't make it home at a certain time, then you're not going to be able to because there's going to be bullets flying everywhere. If things were really, well, when it comes to gun violence or whatever, if things were really as bad as they say, and everybody that owns a firearm is just some crazed shooter, none of us would be here right now. No, not because we would all be dead, no, but because our great-grandparents and their great-grandparents would have all been dead a long time ago, because people in this country have owned firearms and defense mechanisms since our inception. Literally, since our inception. So if that was the case, then we all would have been dead a long time ago. None of us ever would have been born. People need to think. You know when the last time that I even went and target practiced? It's been a while. It's been a good while. You know what my firearms are doing right now? Sitting in there collecting dust. Well, not really, because I clean them a lot, so. But yes. They're not up and going out and doing whatever, and I would never do anything like that, so that destroys their narrative right there. Of course. Let's move on. Okay, I want to entertain a thought really quick before we actually read this one. I'm going to read the title really fast, and I'm going to show you something else, and then we're going to go back to this after a minute. Cargo ships anchored off LA face 4-week wait to berth, and trains in Chicago are backed up 25 miles with global supply chain on the brink of collapse. Americans face shortages of cars, shoes, whatever. Just exercise gear as holiday season looms. And dozens of cargo ships anchored off the coast of Los Angeles face shocking wait times due to the lack of manpower to unload goods. Okay. Off the coast of New York, dozens of cargo ships. Stop. Come on, man. Off the coast of New York, dozens of cargo ships were seen anchored earlier in the week. Okay. So, off the coast of LA, which is on our nation's western coast, and New York, which is, of course, our eastern coast, there are dozens of cargo ships anchored there, and they're not able to get their product into the United States because of the trucking strikes, and there's not enough workers to unload goods and whatever else. Now, let me bring something up that a lot of you probably have not thought of in a while, but maybe you have. I could be wrong. Okay, here is an article from 2010. Do you guys remember this? The Club K system? Deadly new Russian weapon hides in a shipping container. This is 11 years ago. I'm not saying that's what this is, but just think about it. I connected the dots earlier when I was thinking about that, and then it just came to me out of nowhere. And all I heard in my head was Club K. And I was like, Club K? What? I wonder what and I looked it up, and boom, this is what it is. So, a Russian company is marketing a devastating new cruise missile system, which can be hidden inside a shipping container, giving any merchant vessel the capability to wipe out an aircraft carrier. Okay. Potential customers for the formidable Club K system include Kremlin allies, Iran, and Venezuela, say defense experts. They worry that countries could pass the satellite-guided missiles, which are very hard to detect, to terrorist groups. Now, let me remind you, this is 11 years ago. At a stroke, Club K gives long-range precision strike capability to ordinary vehicles that can be moved to almost any place on Earth without attracting attention, said Robert Houston of Jane's Defense Weekly, who first disclosed its existence. Check this out. A promotional video for the Club K on the website of Moscow-based concern Morinformistema, a god, shows an imaginary tropical country facing a land, sea, and air attack from a hostile neighbor. It fights back by loading 3 shipping containers, concealing Club Ks onto a truck, a train, and a ship, disperses them, and then launches a devastating strike on its enemy, destroying its warships, tanks, and airfields. The idea that you can hide a missile system in a box and drive it around without anyone knowing is pretty new, said Houston, who is editor of Jane's Air Launch Weapons. Nobody's ever done that before. The cost of the Club K system, which packs 4 ground or sea-launched cruise missiles into a standard 40-foot shipping container at $10 to $20 million. Unless sales are very tightly controlled, there is danger that it can end up in the wrong hands. Now think about that. 4 ground or sea-launched cruise missiles can fit into 1 shipping container. Now think of these ships off the east and the west coast. Excuse me. The promotional video showed how an ordinary shipping container with the Club K inside could be hidden among other containers on a train or a ship. When required, the roof lifts off and the 4 missiles stand upright, ready to fire. Many people don't even know about this. This is something that made the headlines for about 20 minutes and then was gone forever. But they told you about it. It was just a long time ago. I think there is a illustration down here. Let's see. Well, I guess I could just read the rest of this really fast. Russia is one of the world's top arms exporters, selling a record $8.5 billion weapons last year to countries ranging from Syria and Venezuela to Algeria and China. Its order book is estimated to top $40 billion. Mikhail Barabanov, defense expert, Russia's Center for Analysis and Strategies and Technologies, said that as far as he understood, the Club K was still at its concept stage. Quote, potential clients include anyone who likes the idea. He said it's known that the United Arab Emirates has shown interest in buying the club. Think about that. Anyone who likes the idea. One of the missiles on offer is a special anti-ship variant with a second stage, which splits off after launch and accelerates to supersonic speeds of up to Mach 3. It's a carrier killer, said Houston of Jane's. If you're hit by 1 or 2 of them, the kinetic impact is vast. It's horrendous. So think about this. I thought there was a little diagram or illustration in here, but I don't think there is. Just imagine 4 giant missiles in 1 shipping container, and that's what it is. Think about this. Now think about this. On both sides of the country, that's fun. That's fun. Not saying that's what it is, but you can see where that could be a very real possibility. And also, this kind of helps them out because, of course, global infrastructure was not designed to handle goods at such a rate, a logistics expert exclusively told Daily Mail. The government needs to intervene to stop this crisis immediately or face increased inflation and unemployment and economic breakdown, she asserts. Well, that'll kind of help them in their reset to speed it up a little bit, won't it? Dozens of cargo ships anchored off the coast of Los Angeles face shocking wait times of up to 4 weeks in rail yards and trucking routes. Why are all these pop-ups happening? Stand by. Sorry, everybody. You probably didn't notice that, but I had to close like 3 pop-ups, but there's still more, so I'm just going to have to hope and pray that it does not crash my recording app, because it'll do that a lot of times. Okay, so shocking wait times of up to 4 weeks in rail yards and trucking routes are hopelessly clogged due to the lack of manpower to unload goods, with an expert warning that the government needs to intervene or face spiraling inflation and unemployment. Now remember, they knew all of this was going to happen as soon as they started with their mandates. The truckers have been talking about going on strike and not delivering goods for a while. They knew that they were going to do that. So what better way to get it going than to, well, that's what you're looking at here. The backlog of billions of dollars of toys, clothing, electronics, vehicles, and furniture comes as the demand for consumer goods hit its highest point in history, as consumers stay home instead of spending money on travel and entertainment. Please get out of here. Please stop. Please. Please, Lord, allow these to stop. They're not going to stop. Supply chains have lagged far behind consumer demand due to a lack of manpower at American ports and the restrictions that came with the C-19 outbreak early last year. These constraints, which include social distancing and mandatory quarantines, have severely limited the number and ability of port workers to do their jobs. Also add the mandates to that, and people leaving in droves. And again, they say that global infrastructure was not designed to handle goods at such a rate. A logistics expert who asked not to be named told Daily Mail, why didn't this person want to be named? What do they know that we don't? Now check it out. Check out these. Come on, please stop. Check out these ports here. Supply chains are the artery that feeds our entire ecosystem. The government needs to intervene to stop this crisis immediately, or face increased inflation and unemployment and economic breakdown, or face an end to global trade. Wow, that's really going to help them. So we got ships off the coast of Los Angeles and New York, and I'm sure they'll put some down here in the Gulf, and possibly, if possible, maybe in the Great Lakes, but maybe not. But look at that. Look at that. And this also helps them in starving you out. You're not going to be able to get clothes. Look at this. Now imagine if those Club K systems ended up on here and there's dozens of ships. Look at all those shipping containers. A coalition of unions that represent shipping workers around the world warned of an imminent global transport systems collapse. Huh. You mean like a manufactured Great Reset? Oh, yeah, that's right. That's conspiracy theory. This is all accidental. This is all because of our accidental response to the C-19. Imagine if 1 or 2 of those at least were the Club K things. You would never know. Ever. Like Obama said, you will never see it coming. That always stuck with me when he said that. And when he said the end of the Republic has never looked better. And this kind of reminds me of like naval warships, the way that these are set. Strategically in certain positions. Demand for these goods has spiked so suddenly that when coupled with constraints, workers cannot process these products quick enough, and the demand is only continuing to increase. Now what's going on? Stand by. Yeah, this is something that we are going to have to watch. I mean, people are watching it, but they're watching it for the wrong reasons. They're watching this because their kid's new Christmas toy is on one of those ships and they're not going to be able to get it in time for Christmas. I'm watching this because this is leading to the this is the war of attrition. This is part of it. And people still don't see how this is intentional. Look at this. Check this out. Ports in Los Angeles and Long Beach along California coast saw as many as 73 vessels waiting to unload earlier in September and 66 container ships this week alone. The traffic jams at ports California and Atlantic coast have reached crisis levels in the past 18 months. They've only gotten even worse since July. In Chicago, one of the country's largest rail yards, the size of 500 football fields, was at one point backed up for 25 miles. Whew. Footage obtained by DailyMail.com showed the scale of the problem on the seas with more than a dozen cargo ships and oil tankers anchored outside New York's harbor waiting to unload their goods. Just think about it for a minute. Just think about it. These are aerial images. Look at this. I'm going to have to leave this site pretty soon, guys. Imagine one of those Club K systems just sitting right there. You would never know, and people would just assume that it was part of this. And this guy says there are no labor shortages or significant shipping backlogs. Statement added that on Friday there were just 3 ships remaining anchored off the coast. Sure. Year to date, container vessels have averaged just 1.3, there's your 13, days at anchored. Dwell time has been running about twice normal throughout the situation. During September and throughout the situation, the port performed extraordinarily well in keeping the supply chain moving throughout the region as well as cargo bound for the Midwest via rail. Just going to keep skipping down through here because I got some other stuff that I want to get to. We're lucky there hasn't been a major accident. So yeah, this is going on. Okay, yeah, I got to get off this, guys. So moving on. Sorry about that, guys. I don't know why there are always so many pop-ups. You just try to read an article, and all these pop-ups just get on here. Like, that is ridiculous. That is just ridiculous. But before I get to the more important parts of this video, check this out. Facebook. We disconnected our data centers from the internet. Yes, that's yeah. Okay, Facebook says that a configuration error broke its connection to a key network backbone, disconnecting all of its data centers from the internet and leaving DNS servers unreachable, the company said. The unusual combination of errors took down the web operations of Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp, whatever that is, in a massive global outage that lasted more than 5 hours. In effect, Facebook said a single errant command took down web services used by more than 7 billion accounts worldwide. Early external analysis of the outage focused on Facebook's domain name servers and changes in a network route and the border gateway protocol, issues which were clearly visible from internet records. Those turned out to be secondary issues triggered by Facebook's backbone outage. During planned network maintenance, a command was issued with the intention to access the availability of global backbone capacity, which unintentionally took down all the connections in our backbone network, effectively disconnecting Facebook data centers globally, according to a blog post by Facebook VP of Infrastructure, Santosh Janardhan. They're trying to downplay this, but the fact of the matter is they're getting ready. They're testing all. This is what Cyber Polygon was about. They're testing all of it. They're testing our reactions. They're testing how easy it would be to shut down websites, power in a bunch of places. Oh, and even, I won't say it yet because that's the next thing I'm going to bring up. But basically, Facebook is just trying to downplay this, saying that it was a planned thing. I will link this stuff in the description box so you guys can read all of this, but I have some other stuff that I really want to get to. And speaking of outages, take a look at this little number that I came across. Okay, here we are at the Energy Information Administration. This is a government website. This is October 1st, 2021. Capacity outages at U.S. nuclear power plants averaged 3.1 gigawatts this summer. 3.1. Nuclear power plants. Outages at nuclear power plants. So again, this goes along with that. People still don't see that this is a coordinated, controlled collapse of the entire world society. That's literally where we are. I know this is small, but if I zoom in and try to read it, I'm going to have to be going back and forth. So I'm just going to have to read it like this. I hope you guys don't mind. I will link this too. Okay. Daily capacity outages at nuclear power plants averaged 3.1 gigawatts during the summer of 2021, June 1st through August 31st. 22% less than the 4.0 gigawatt average in summer 2020. Nuclear capacity outages were lowest in August when they averaged 1.7 gigawatts for the month. So during the summertime. That's around the time they had Cyber Polygon, wasn't it? You see how all this stuff connects to their weird events that they hold? I mean, come on. U.S. nuclear outages are usually at their lowest during summer and winter because electricity demand is high during these seasons, and plant operators try to ensure plants are available to meet increased electricity demand associated with air conditioning and electric heating. Planned nuclear outages are usually scheduled to coincide with the plant's refueling cycle. U.S. nuclear power plants typically refuel every 18 to 24 months, mostly in fall and spring when electricity demand is lower. During a refueling outage, plants typically optimize downtime by scheduling facility upgrades, repairs, and other maintenance work while the nuclear reactor is offline. So far in 2021, the average refueling outage lasted 32 days. Over the last few decades, the average duration of refueling outage for a nuclear power plant in the United States has decreased. The average duration in 2021 was 27% shorter than the 44-day average in 2000. And you can see right here where the table in which the outages, average length of U.S. nuclear refueling outages, January 1st, 2000 to September 24th, 2021. I will link this also in the description, but I have some other things that I would like to get to. Total unplanned nuclear outages, January 1st, 2000 to September 24th, 2021. And you can see here, it looks like they were pretty low in 2019. Early retirements are also classified as unplanned outages in the data. Early retirements have affected the amount of available summer nuclear capacity in 2021. The Indian Point Energy Center in New York retired its last operating reactor, Unit 3, at the end of April 2021, earlier than originally planned, removing 1.0 gigawatts of nuclear generating capacity from the grid. Our status of nuclear outages page, which is based on data collected by the U.S. Nuclear Regulatory Commission and EIA surveys of the electronic power sector, provides daily operation information on each commercial U.S. nuclear power reactor. So you can see here that the outages, well, they were pretty frequent. Look at this graph. From 2000 and then from 2016 to 2020, they were up pretty high. Then you get all the way to 2021. Look at that. So it's everything. It's not just the internet. It's not just power. It's not just whatever else. It is literally everything. Let's move on. All right, here's a website that I discovered not long ago, and I actually like to come here a lot. Transhumanism, clearly objective of New World Order. So for anybody who is still doubting this, that it's a possibility or that it's even real, When we go through this, you will hopefully understand a little better that these people are really doing this, and they really, really, really want you to, well, let me just get into it. It should be clear from this article and all the referenced articles following that science is already capable of merging humans with computers. Even a skeptic must know that we are all destined to be tracked wherever we are. That needs no scientific advance. If you want to see where the world is headed, but can't be bothered to research, you could just watch the first episode of Biohackers on Netflix. The lecturer states that what the mission of the medical students is, and I assure you everything she says is in line with the stated objectives of the Great Reset, aka New World Order. Well, of course. And this was written up in June 14th, 2021. So, only a few months ago. The Great Reset and Transhumanism movement. The situation, that's what we refer to the C-19 situation, that's what I call it. So if you're just listening to me and not actually reading and following along, whenever I say the situation, I'm talking about the pandemic. Situation has ushered in a new era of biodigital convergence. The most freedom in this new era will be awarded to those who are marked and opt into synthetic enhancement. Being a real human in this new world will be considered primitive. Oh, you actually have to go learn and read stuff and try to memorize things like people used to do. I could just download all the knowledge in the world right to my brain. Yeah, and it'll also take out the need for sifting through, and they will probably be able to make sure that you never come across any opposing view ever again. Just by, putting it there. The long-term agenda is not about C-19 or even the implementation of a biosecurity state, but could be used for the extinction of Homo sapiens, the end of humanity as you know it. Exploring Biodigital Convergence is a terrifying report by Policy Horizons of Canada, which explores in detail what happens when biology and digital technology merge. Now remember, Internet of Bodies. They've been talking about this. In the coming years, biodigital technologies may become integrated into everyday life. The way digital technologies are now, this will redefine what it means to be human. Synthetic enhancements could lead to gene ability, in which certain people have superior genes or transhuman traits, and the benefits that go along with them. Like the less superior humans, like the unvaccinated, are awarded fewer rights. Again, if you have the mindset that you have to be awarded rights or rights taken away and somebody can give them to you, if that is your mindset, you don't know what freedom is. Freedom is inherent within you. You are born a free being. When you're a kid, and if you can remember back that far, when you're a kid, you don't know anything about the world really. All you know is how to eat, how to shit, how to sleep, and that you can pretty much do anything you want to do. And you're only limited by your own ability to do them. That's real freedom right there, and people should really understand that. The situation has ushered in a new era of biodigital convergence, one that's been in the works for decades, but is now accelerating in the name of public health and new normalcy. And this person said, as I said, June 7, 2021, the most freedom in this new era will be awarded to those who are vaccinated. You better believe it. We ain't seen nothing yet. Freedom, however, isn't something to be granted to you by authorities in exchange for obedience. But in this altered reality, segregation between the vaccinated and unvaccinated is increasing. Those who comply will earn their freedom back, setting the mindset that by getting vaccinated and going along with government's industrial process, you are being enhanced. While if you do not, you're holding society back, are not compliant, and may be a threat to others. As James Corbett covers in the Corbett Report above, we're in the midst of the implementation of medical martial law system presided over by unappointed, unelected, unaccountable, public-held authorities who now have literal control over your everyday movements, who are constructing a total surveillance grid that comes with the prospect of not just vaccine passports, but health passes generally, which will be used to restrict your ability to access public life, and that you will be guilty until proven innocent of infection under this new paradigm that is being installed. Nailed it. Nailed it. Think about the implications of this. Think about the implications. You will be seen as holding society back. And what's the point of technology if we can't use it to enhance ourselves? This is literally Lucifer's end game. And if you can't see that, I can't help you. The people in this community can't help you. Nobody can help you. If you are just blind to all of this, or if you think that's not real. It is real. Very real. And pretty soon, not taking part in their, mandates or in their transhumanist New World Order, you will probably be arrested and thrown in a hole until you comply. At which point, you know what to do. This is only the beginning. The next step isn't only about freedom, but synthetic enhancement that will redefine what it means to be human. In all likelihood, opting into biodigital convergence will come with rewards, while resisting or rejecting will come with penalties. Yeah. Your guide to the great convergence. This is literally about, what do you think they mean when they talk about a new social contract? What do you think they mean? And if you read through the lines, it's very easy to see this stuff. So easy, in fact, that you really don't even have to have any kind of intelligence or anything. I warned about the situation ushering in the Great Reset and Fourth Industrial Revolution, which has been in discussion since at least 2016, and is characterized by a fusion of technologies that is blurring the lines between physical, digital, and biological spheres. That's in quotations because Klaus Schwab actually wrote that. You will not know what is a real human and what is not anymore. And I'm sure they will use it on plants and pretty much anything that God designed, they will, redesign in their own image. That's what this stuff is about. The long-term agenda is not about C-19 or even the implementation of a biosecurity state, but as noted by Corbett, will be used for the extinction of Homo sapiens, the end of humanity as you know it. This isn't conjecture. The notion of transhumanism is being actively researched and explored. In an article titled "Looking Forward to the End of Humanity," Wall Street Journal noted that C-19 has spotlighted the promise and peril of transhumanism, the idea of using technology to overcome sickness, aging, and death. That's what they want to use it for, because they are so afraid of judgment that they want to use technology in order to extend their lives to be... I heard someone say that we have the capacity to live 1,000 years. Who wants to live in a world for that long? That's not... granted, people probably used to live pretty long, but this new world that they're creating, you don't want to be a part of it. It talks about the need for technological protection to protect our species from being wiped out from nuclear war, asteroid collision, a technological accident, or situation. The problem is that, in so doing, humans are no longer human, at least not the way you think of them now, according to the Wall Street Journal. I believe this is from the Wall Street Journal right here, this little section that I'm about to read. Ultimately, however, the hope is that we won't just use computers, we'll become them. Today, cognitive scientists often compare the brain to hardware and the mind to software that runs on it. Yeah, what did who was that? He was talking about the software of life and how we could manipulate it and even modify it. Today, cognitive scientists have often compared the brain to hardware and the mind to software that runs on it, but a software program is just information. And in principle, there's no reason why the information of consciousness has to be encoded in neurons. The Human Connectome project, launched in 2009 by National Institutes of Health, describes itself as an ambitious effort to map the neural pathways that undermine human brain function. If those pathways could be completely mapped and translated into digital zeros and ones, the data could be uploaded to a computer, where it could survive indefinitely. The human-computer metaphor was also used in a 2017 TED Talk by Dr. Tal Zaks, Chief Medical Officer at Moderna, who referred to mRNA technology as the software of life. That's what it is. That's him. Moderna, which was founded on the concept of being able to modify human biological function through genetic engineering, went on to develop one of the, things that they're trying to push on us through mandates or otherwise. What we've been trying to tell people from day one, but they don't listen and they go and they, roll up their sleeves and they do what they're told. The potentially permanent modification of humans is an existential threat to the human species, according to Corbett, yet hardly anyone is talking about it. They will never report this on the news. They will never tell you this except for in a good light. They will say that we need to do this in order to save the world. Do you really trust the people that hoarded all of the wealth and resources over the last 100 or so years, suppressed all free inventions, destroyed any competitor of theirs? To get an idea what's on the horizon, look no further than exploring biodigital convergence, a terrifying report by Policy Horizons Canada, which explores in detail what happens when biology and digital technology merge. Policy Horizons Canada is a Canadian government organization whose director is General Crystal van der Elst, former head of strategic foresight at the World Economic Forum. Okay. In the report's foreword, van der Elst is very open that in the coming years, biodigital technologies may become integrated into everyday life the way digital technologies are now. She states quite clearly that this will redefine what it means to be human. Quote, this is her, I believe. More than a technological change, this biodigital convergence may transform the way we understand ourselves and cause us to redefine what we consider human or natural. And there's more. The report outlines ways in which biodigital convergence is emerging and developing new ways to change human beings' bodies, minds, behaviors, alter ecosystems, manage biological innovation, change or create other organisms, sense, store, process, and transmit information, structure and manage production and supply chains. Do you know how they were able to sell this to the masses? They spent an enormous amount of time making people doubt and even completely not believe in God. People that believe in God take one look at this and they're like, no. This is literally Lucifer's playground. This is Lucifer trying to be as God. Literally, what did it say? Change or create other organisms. Come on. Changing human bodies, minds, and behaviors? Altering ecosystems? That's literally Satan trying to alter everything that God has created. He's not going to get very far. Blurring what is considered natural, digital, or engineered. In biodigital convergence, biological and digital entities become fully integrated, creating new hybrid forms of life and technology, each functioning in the tangible world, often with heightened capabilities. Policy Horizons Canada makes it sound like this is no big deal, since robots with biological brains and biological bodies with digital brains already exist, as do human, computer, and brain-machine interfaces. I hope people see a problem with this. I really do. I hope that people are like, wait, this is not about some virus. At some point in time, they're going to stop talking about it altogether on TV, and they're going to shift over to climate change or whatever. Then they're going to shift to the fact that humans, as we are, with free thought and free, expression and ability to do whatever we want to do, is a bad thing, because that's how we almost destroyed the world. And now they're going to save the world with their technology. And that's why we have to merge computers with people and upgrade our DNA so that they can make sure that we don't go down that route, because if we do, then they can just, hack you and put you back on the right path. The sad part is, people are going to buy it. Hook, line, and sinker. Okay, but they're literally talking about tapping into the nervous system and manipulating neurons to add technology to organisms with the intent of altering its function and purpose. What could possibly go wrong? For just one example of how the use of tech quickly backfire, eerie snippets from the World Economic Forum's 2016 meeting, detailed research underway to decode your thoughts, read your mind, and even use your own thoughts against you in a court of law. Oh. That's rough. That's terrifying. That's literally terrifying. Ultimately, the plan is for coevolution of biological and digital technology, such that there is also a blurring between what is considered natural or organic and what is digital, engineered, or synthetic. A section of the report titled Good Morning Biodigital is perhaps the most disturbing of all, as it outlines a possible glimpse into a future biodigital world. I suggest you read it in its entirety, but here's a snippet. Oh, I'm scared. Not really, I'm just, While I'm brushing my teeth, Jamie, my personal artificial intelligence, asked if I'd like a delivery drone to come pick up my daughter's baby tooth, which fell out 2 days ago. The epigenetic markers in children's teeth have to be analyzed and cataloged in our family's genetic blockchain in order to qualify for the Open Health rebate. So I need that done today. I replaced the smart sticker that monitors my blood chemistry, lymphatic system, and organ function in real time. It's hard to imagine the cost of suffering that people must have endured before personalized preventative medicine became common. I'll save all my thoughts till after I read this. Also, I'll admit that it sounds gross, but it's a good thing the municipality samples our fecal matter, from the sewage pipes. It's part of the platform to analyze data in nutritional diversity, gut bacteria, and antibiotic use, to aid public health screening and fight antibiotic-resistant strains of bacterial infections. What? And we are seen as the psychopaths and crazy ones, right? But this is literally, these people are literally psychopaths. If you even have to think of something like this up, you are a psychopath. And she's like, oh, it's hard to imagine the cost and suffering that people must have endured before personalized preventative medicine became common. Actually, it was fine for thousands of years and still is. They're literally changing what it means to be human. And if you've made it this far, you might want to download this video, because this video will probably get taken down just for this article here. Gene ability, creating a superior class of people. Wearable technology and neurotechnology are already upon us, with brain-computer interfaces and electrodes in development that would neurologically enhance humans. Currently, such interfaces are aimed at people with disabilities, but likely would progress into other enhancements like superintelligence or preferred physical traits. Already, pre-implantation, genetic diagnosis is used to identify embryos without genetic defects, with claims that soon it will be able to screen for embryos with the highest IQ. CRISPR-Cas9 gene editing technology has also been used to alter DNA in human embryos in a way that would eliminate or correct the genes causing certain inherited diseases. Or cause, for people like me and you. Soon, however, such enhancements could lead to gene ability, which in certain people in which certain people have superior genes or transhuman traits and the benefits that go along with them, while the less superior humans, like the unvaccinated, are awarded fewer rights. X Prize noted. The future of genetic engineering must be regulated in order to prevent what the ethicist Ron Green calls geneability, a class of people with superior genes who can afford to have them. Sounds very Hitler-esque. While this might sound sci-fi, we already live in a society with huge discrepancies around healthcare. Points out Green, the cost of genesing is failing, and therefore may become more accessible to more people. Regulation in the fields of human enhancement becomes ever more crucial. By design. Engineers are actively making this happen. Again, Corbett points out, this isn't speculation. Researchers such as MIT's Susan Hockfield, PhD, are actively constructing ways to make transhumanism happen. Hockfield wrote in a book, The Age of Living Machines, in which she explains the coming convergence of biology and engineering and how it will change our world for the better. For them. Corbett also pointed to a Harvard Magazine article from 2011 in which the former chairman of the Harvard Department of Chemistry, nanoscience expert Charles Lieber, PhD, created a virus-sized transistor that could penetrate cell membranes due to its fatty lipid layer. This all sounds so wonderful. So wonderful. Pfizer and Moderna are now using a lipid nanoparticle delivery system for their mark. Bringing us full circle. Lieber, by the way, was arrested in early 2020 by federal agencies suspected of illegal dealings with China. Pentagon scientists Profusa have also developed a tiny biosensor that could be embedded under your skin to detect disease. Profusa said it intended to seek FDA approval for their tissue integrating biosensor in 2021. Remember when people were saying that we were insane for saying that, a couple years ago, we really didn't know much about this. We were talking about RFID chips. That'll never happen. You're crazy. They're not going to have a chip. This has gone far beyond that. Far beyond that. It's essential to be aware of the coming Great Convergence and its intent to usher in transhumanism and nano-bio-info-cogno paradigm. Researchers wrote in Post-Digital Science and Education, quote, a central point of critique in the critical philosophy of convergence is the political economy of post-biological technocracy and its tendency to numb the biological self and create a kind of digital obedience where big tech platforms, ontologies, know us better than we know ourselves. And here are all the sources and references for those who want to try to come on here and say that all this is crap. Of course, I will leave the link to this. I've been forgetting to do that lately, by the way. I always think about it, and I'm like, okay, at the end of the video, I'm going to put it up, I'm going to put the links in, but then I forget. So please, oh please, if you don't see links, please remind me. And I will do so. Let's pray. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from the evil one. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen.